Harbor kids, I didn't know you guys would be here. I'm so glad you guys joined us today. You know, I'm not really a real doctor. I just played one on Harbor Kids. But I'm glad you guys joined us today. You know, this is a wonderful time of year where we pause and we recognize some of our heroes. People who put their lives on the line on a regular basis to make our lives safer and better in a lot of different ways. And we are just filled with thankfulness to them today. Tell you what, let's start things off right today. Let's all stand together and let's sing some praises to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Let's go.
Great is the Lord, He is holy and just. By His power we trust in His love. Great is the Lord, He is faithful and true. By His mercy He proves His love. Great is the Lord and worthy of glory. Great is the Lord and worthy of praise. Great is the Lord, now lift up your voice, now lift up your voice. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. How great is our God. How great is our God. How great is our God. You're the name above all names. You are worthy to be praised. And my heart will say, how great is our God. 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 You're the name above all names. You are worthy to be praised. And my heart will say, how great is our God. How great is our God. How great is our God. How great is our God.
I love to study God's creation. While you may not care much for this creature, you should know that it is one of the most unlikely of heroes, the spider. With the potential to scale walls, jump high, run fast, and sail through the air, the spider has the physical abilities of a hero at its best.
Spider-Man,
This
Spider-Man.
creature is not an insect. In fact, it is an arachnid, which is in the family with scorpions and ticks. Let's look at some of the qualities that make the spider so super. Spiders do not have a skeleton like we do. Instead, they have something called an exoskeleton. This is like a hard suit of armor that protects its body. God has created the spider with tiny hairs on their legs that hold on to the surfaces and make it easy for them to climb walls and buildings. Have you ever come across a spider's web? A web is made from silk threads created by the spider using their spinnerets. This silk is 5 times stronger than steel. The silk of a spider is so incredible that scientists have tried to find ways to copy it in order to make bulletproof vests. While spiders don't actually fly, they are able to use their silk and swing through the air. This is called ballooning. A long time ago, people used to put spider webs on their cuts and wounds because they thought it would help them get better. Later, scientists actually did discover that the spider's silk has vitamin K in it, and vitamin K can help stop bleeding. The Bible says in Proverbs 30:28 that the spider taketh hold with her hands and is in kings' palaces. Even though the spider is thought to be scary and gross, they perform such an important task that they are allowed to be in palaces. Spiders are almost everywhere. These little heroes are never very far. God created the spider with the desire to eat roaches, flies, mites, and mosquitoes. This is how they save the day. Spiders help protect us from annoying pests and dangerous disease-carrying mosquitoes. They also like to eat the insects that can ruin crops that farmers grow. You know, the food that ends up in our grocery stores. Who would have thought that this misunderstood creature would be a hero in disguise?
Look out! Here comes the Spider-Man!
Hey kids, it's time for our weekly Bible memory verse. This week's Bible memory verse is Galatians chapter 6, verse 2, where the Bible says, "Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ." Let's try that again. Galatians 6, verse 2. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. In the Old Testament, there were tons of laws and regulations that God wanted his people to keep. And all of them hinged on one thing, that God said, "I want you to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself." And in these 2 great commandments, you would fulfill all of the laws of the Old Testament. And in the New Testament, Jesus told his disciples, "A new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another, even as I have loved you." Loving someone is the fulfillment of the law. And when we bear someone's burdens, help them with their problems, help them through their struggles, that shows a love that is fulfilling the very law of Christ. Let's say that again together, shall we? Galatians chapter 6, verse 2. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill
the law of Christ. Ooh, last time. Now let's do it by yourself. Are you ready? Galatians 6, verse 2. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. You guys did a great job. You know, the Bible says that we are to give honor to whom honor is due. And this weekend, we really as a nation are pausing to recognize those people who have risked their lives or laid their lives down to make our lives better and safer. We have soldiers that are fighting our battles on foreign soils. We have doctors and nurses, healthcare professionals that really have helped us to navigate this COVID virus time to make our lives that much safer. We even have people who are clerks in stores and truck drivers who have been on the front lines, and we just really, at this time, want to pause and say, thank you.
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 Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey kids, let me ask you something. Where can you read about heroes? In a comic book? Or maybe in a newspaper? How about in a sports magazine? You know where you can read about the best heroes? In the Bible. In the book of Luke, Jesus told the story of a man who was traveling on a dangerous road. Suddenly, a group of robbers attacked him and took everything he had and left him in the middle of the road. Soon after that, a priest came by. A priest was someone who was a Jewish religious leader who would talk to God about the people. But this priest didn't care about the man. In fact, he didn't even want to get close to the man. So he walked on the other side of the road. Not long after that, the Bible says a Levite came by. These were the people who taught the people all the laws in the Bible and led the worship services. Surely the Levite would help him. Well, he came, he looked, but then he left. All hope seemed lost for this poor man, and it seemed like he was doomed. When out of nowhere came the most unexpected hero, riding on a donkey. He stopped and helped him. He had compassion on him. The priest and the Levite would have been expected to help this man because they were religious leaders and they should have cared. But this man would never have been expected to help him because he was from Samaria. The Samaritans and the Jews did not like each other. So for the Samaritan to stop and help was a true act of kindness. He gave the wounded man medicine, bandaged up his wounds, put him on his donkey, and took him to an inn to take care of him. That's kind of like a hotel. The next day, when the Samaritan had to leave, he paid the innkeeper to take care of the wounded man for as long as he needed to. After Jesus told this story, he told everyone listening to be like the Samaritan. Kids, you can be a good Samaritan. That means you can stop and help people. All it takes is, number one, looking and seeing a need. Sometimes we don't stop and look around us to notice others that may be going through hard times. Number 2, it means having compassion. Compassion is caring enough about someone to do something. And number 3, taking the time. To see something through to the very end shows how much you really care. It might be inconvenient sometimes, but when you invest your own time and energy to help others, you are actually doing what a superhero would do. The Good Samaritan saved this man's life. He was a hero. But really, what he did was he stopped and he helped someone that was in need. He risked his own safety to care for this man's condition, and he spent his own time and money to make sure he recovered. Today in our world, we are surrounded by heroes that help us. Some of them are soldiers. Some of them are doctors and nurses. Some of them are police officers and firefighters. And some of them are grocery store workers and truck drivers. We are grateful to have them because they help us. And then there is the greatest hero of all time, Jesus. He is a hero to the heroes. When soldiers need help, he can help them. When doctors and nurses need a hero, he is there. And when all of us needed to be rescued from our sin, Jesus saw our condition, laid his life down, and paid the full price to deliver us. He saved the day. If you would like to know more about how to go to heaven, click the link in the description below. Kids, what a great thing it is to stop and help people. So this week, remember, whenever you stop and help someone, you are doing the work of a hero. And stop and thank our heroes this week. They are all around us. There are heroes in places like this. There are heroes here. There are heroes here. There are heroes here. Maybe not those kind of heroes. Uh-oh. Oh no.